behind the scenes and not publicly, behind the scenes and not publicly, Democrats are privately beginning to realize that Ossoff and Warnock are too far left for Georgia. More polling has come out showing Ossoff's and Warnock's negatives are skyrocketing, particularly Warnock. Warnock was largely left untouched in the general election because Collins and Loeffler both knew they had to go after each other in order to get into a runoff. They knew a runoff was likely. And so Warnock, no one exposed Georgia to Warnock's crazy statements and beliefs. Well, now they are. And Warnock's negatives are now higher than Loeffler's negatives. It does not help that Warnock has a long track record of making outlandish statements from the pulpit that turn off both white and black voters. And now there's this from the Daily Caller. Democratic Georgia Senate candidate Raphael Warnock's church-run summer camp was nearly shut down after Maryland health officials found unreported child abuse allegations and repeated safety code violations, records obtained by the Free Beacon show. Records from the Maryland Department of Health and Mental Hygiene revealed that staff failed to properly supervise children and were not given a criminal background check before being hired, which is required by law. The camp's director was forced to resign after at least 5 child abuse or neglect allegations were brought against him. Warnock served as the senior pastor of the Douglas Memorial Community Church at the time, which operated the Maryland camp known as Camp Farthest Out. In 2002, Warnock was arrested for allegedly interfering in a police investigation into child abuse allegations. A police report obtained by the Washington Free Beacon showed Warnock was arrested after he and another reverend were repeatedly warned not to interfere with police interviews. Despite the warnings, Warnock was allegedly extremely uncooperative and disruptive and instructed campers not to talk to the investigators, including pulling one camper away by the arm while he was speaking to an investigator. However, Warnock told the Baltimore Sun in 2002 that he was only asserting that lawyers should be present when camp counselors were interviewed. During debate Sunday, Warnock claimed the officers actually thanked me for my cooperation and for helping them, which is the same thing the deputy state attorney told the Baltimore Sun in 2002. According to the Free Beacon, the state attorney's office later dropped the charges. Douglas Memorial Community Church hired Warnock as a pastor in 2001, where Warnock served for about 5 years. Expanding the church's summer program was one of his responsibilities. A 2002 report obtained from the Maryland Department of Health and Mental Hygiene listed 11 violations at the camp, including incomplete camper medical records, not having approval for plumbing and electrical systems, improper child abuse reporting systems, not having approval from the state fire marshal, and failure to supervise the children. Warnock, this story, by the way, has not fully come out yet, and this story is coming. Warnock running over his wife during their messy divorce stuff is coming. There are so many things about Warnock that people don't know. Now, here's the issue with John Ossoff is that there's nothing to know about him. He is spectacularly unaccomplished. He doesn't have a record. He is a shadow candidate, a Manchurian candidate. He is of the left. He is a socialist, trust fund socialist. His dad has largely propped up his life and lifestyle. He's got money from the communist Chinese. He's got money from Osama bin Laden's favorite news network, Al Jazeera, to continue his supposed documentary investigations. I don't know a person in journalism who knows anything John Ossoff has done, and yet he claims to be a journalist, claims to be a reporter, claims to be a documentarian. Nobody seems to know any of the work he's done. Black voters in Georgia are skeptical of Ossoff. White voters in Georgia are skeptical of Warnock. These are not good candidates for the Democrats. They can't admit it publicly, but privately they're starting to realize that, yes, there is a problem with both of these candidates. Yes, there is a problem, and those problems are going to be made manifest very soon. And the Democrats are stuck. They wanted Stacey Abrams, and say what you will about Stacey Abrams, but she's been a very careful, guarded politician. She is of the left. She has staked out positions on the left, but in her public persona and her public statements, she's been very guarded with some of the stuff she believes. So it is harder to come after her than a guy like Warnock, who stood in the pulpit and called police gangsters and thugs, who stood in the pulpit and said Republicans were killing the unborn by giving people tax cuts. He actually said that. I played the audio yesterday. He really genuinely believes, he says he's a pro-abortion pastor. He supports abortion rights, and yet Republicans were killing the unborn by giving tax cuts to people. This man actually believes this stuff. The Democrats are going to have problems in the state with these two candidates. They're lucky this is only a runoff and there aren't a whole lot of other races there. You got the Bubba McDonald race as well. Don't forget about Bubba McDonald. State Public Service Commission. You know, we've just got Plant Vogtle got its first nuclear material to open its nuclear power plant. We wouldn't be getting a nuclear power plant in Georgia but for Bubba McDonald's leadership. The Democrats wanted to shut it down. They didn't want us to have coal burning plants. They don't want us to have nuclear plants. They just want solar panels everywhere. When it's outside like today, when it's grimy and gray outside, they wouldn't even work. And that's the plan for the Democrats in Georgia. They want to put us in the dark like California. That's why you got to vote for Bubba McDonald as well to stop the California nonsense invading Georgia's thinking on electricity. But you got to go out there and vote. Get your absentee ballot. I got mine. In fact, I got a text message from the Board of Elections. My absentee ballot has been mailed to me. I should receive it tomorrow. My wife got her absentee ballot ordered this morning. Hers should be here by Friday. You need to get your absentee ballot. Go to securevotega.com. Securevotega.com. Get your absentee ballot. You got to vote. Vote any way you can, as soon as you can. Don't depend on Election Day. You don't know what the weather is going to be. Look at how crazy our weather is right now. You don't want to wait until Election Day. You want to go out there, vote now if you can. Get your vote in. We got to stop these radicals from getting to Congress. Yes, I wish there was a better word. Do I need to say Marxists? Nobody knows what that means anymore. People get radical, and they are too far left.